that is anomalous behavior of a water. Anomalous behavior of water. This anomalous means what? Anomalous means it is not regular. So generally we know that generally the all liquids expand when they are heated. In the case of a liquid like water, the water also expands when it is heated from 4 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius, and it contracts up to the 4 degrees Celsius when cooled from any temperature. What happens below 4 degrees Celsius? So below the 4 degrees Celsius up to the 0 degrees Celsius, instead of contraction, water expands till it freezes to the ice, and this is called the anomalous behavior of water. Now, the one thing you have to remember here that the water has maximum density at 4 degrees Celsius. So this property is very important, the environmental effect. So here you have to remember that the anomalous behavior of a water is useful for the aquatic life. So this is all about the anomalous behavior of a water. You have to remember here. Now let us study about the thermal trace. Thermal trace. If we consider a rod, if the rod is fixed between the two rigid supports, what happens? If the rod is fixed between the two rigid supports and its thermal expansion is prevented, what will happen? Then the trace is set up in the rod, and this is called the thermal trace. So here let us consider a rod of length L and a cross sectional area capital A. It is fixed between the two rigid supports. When the temperature is increased by the amount delta T, it causes the compressive trace. Now if delta L is the increase in length, then we can write this delta L is directly proportional to L, that is the length of rod, and delta T. So delta L is directly proportional to L into delta T. If you want to remove this proportionality sign, let us introduce the proportionality constant, and we have here delta L equal to alpha into L into delta T. We have this relation here. So let us call this as equation 1. Here alpha, this proportionality constant alpha is called the coefficient of linear expansion. Now the Young's modulus of a material rod it is given by, we know that the Young's modulus, it is represented by Y, and it is the ratio of trace to strain. So Y equal to trace upon strain, which is equal to, trace means applied force upon area. So this trace is equal to force upon area, and strain is nothing but the change in length upon original length, that is delta L upon L. On rearranging the terms, we have here F into L upon A into delta L. So we have Y equal to F into L upon A into delta L. Or we can write here delta L is equal to F into L upon A into Y. We have this expression here. Let us call this as equation number 2. So see here, from these relations Y equal to F into L upon A into delta L, we have this, on rearranging the terms, delta L equal to F into L upon A into Y. We have called this as equation 2. So from the equation 1 and 2, what we have? From the equation 1 and 2, we can write alpha into L into delta T, alpha into L into delta T, which is equal to, if you combine these two equations, alpha into L into delta T, which is equal to F into L upon A into Y. We have these equations here. So from this relation, we can write this L will get cancelled from the both sides, and we have the compressive trace, which is given by F by A. From these relations we can write F by A is equal to F by A equal to alpha into Y into delta T, alpha into Y into delta T. So this is nothing but the compressive trace F by A, which is equal to alpha into Y into delta T. Or the compressive force, we can write here compressive force, we can write here F equal to alpha into Y into A into delta T. Now see, this compressive force F is directly proportional to the Young's modulus of material. The second thing, this compressive force is directly proportional to the cross-sectional area. And third thing, this compressive force is directly proportional to the change in temperature of a rod. So these things you have to remember here, that this compressive force is directly proportional to Y, A and delta T. So these things you have to remember regarding the thermal trace. Now the next article which we are going to study, that is the specific heat capacity. So let us study about specific heat capacity. So what is meant by the specific heat capacity? So specific heat capacity of a substance, it is defined as the quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of unit mass of a substance through 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. That is the specific heat capacity of a substance. So to understand this concept of specific heat capacity, let us consider an amount of heat, that is Q, is required to change the temperature of a substance is directly proportional to the mass of a substance. So here we can say that this Q, it is directly proportional to M. This Q, it is also directly proportional to the change in temperature, that is delta T. So here Q is directly proportional to delta T. So from these two relations, we can write Q is proportional to M into delta T, or if you remove this proportionality sign, we can write here Q equal to C into M into delta T. So this C, it is called the specific heat or specific heat capacity of a substance. So we will stop here